So the Callisto Protocol, I've actually done a review on this a few days ago. If you haven't seen it, why not check it out right here? Or maybe the other side, I kind of forget which. However, before we get into this, why don't you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos in the future? Thanks so much. So in the review itself, I've talked about the story, the gameplay, the mechanics, and I've compared the game a lot to Dead Space, which in my opinion I had every right to do so, because the Callisto Protocol is essentially Dead Space. As much as the director and the development team wants to deny it and to say that it has nothing to do with it and it's a completely different universe, as far as I can tell, everything from the UI, the gameplay mechanics, the atmosphere, the ambience, even some of the soundtracks, it just, you know, there was a nostalgia that I felt. The claustrophobic corridors and hallways, and some of the monster designs as well. I don't know, the limb dismemberment, everything screamed Dead Space to me. This video will not change the score that I gave it, because in my opinion I judged it fairly and a bit harshly. However, based on the PC release and some of the issues that there were on the PlayStation 5, I don't believe a game that costs £70 should be in this state, so I am backing down on the score I gave it. However, now I'm doing my third playthrough, and this is the playthrough where I'm actually not recording any gameplay footage. I'm not really looking through it, judging eyes. I'm sort of just enjoying it for what it is, because at the end of the day, I do enjoy the game. And in my personal subjective opinion, it's alright, it's actually good. I miss this kind of horror category. In the review I had to be impartial and neutral, but me personally, I do enjoy it. And I spent a lot more time just analyzing the world environment and, you know, really immerse myself into what it is, the atmosphere and everything else. And I've noticed a few things that I haven't mentioned in the review, which I think is important to do so, because there are actually things that the Callisto Protocol has done immensely perfectly. And I would like to point out two things that I haven't really talked about previously. One of them being ray tracing. Now, in my opinion, the Callisto Protocol handles ray tracing in a phenomenal way, and arguably probably one of the best implementations of ray tracing in the PlayStation 5 era. And maybe I would even go as far as to say that it competes with PC platform ray tracing capabilities as far as I've seen in games. Now, for me personally, it was always Cyberpunk 2077 that kind of set the standard for ray tracing in 2022. And I'm talking specifically about the PC version. CD Projekt Red have really sort of updated and gave us a lot of patches. The modding community also sort of revitalized the game to what it was around the E3 gameplay trailer. And right now, Cyberpunk 2077 visually, in my opinion, is phenomenal. It looks amazing, and ray tracing is almost photorealistic. And that really has set the standard for me personally. Now, Callisto Protocol may have actually caught up with Cyberpunk 2077, and I know the argument can be made that this is a linear narrative story. The environments don't change unless it's a scripted event, and yes, that is true. In an open world game, you can drive through it, you can run through it, you can fight your way through it, you can start firefights, you can basically do different things that will affect the environment in different ways, and therefore it is a lot harder to implement lifelike ray tracing, and that's a fair argument. However, what I am talking about is not only the implementation and the functionality of ray tracing. I'm talking about using ray tracing in such ways where the lighting actually gives the game a whole new level of experience. In Cyberpunk 2077, ray tracing makes it look prettier. In this game, it actually brings it to life, and not only in a visual aspect, but also, in my opinion, it gives depth to the whole anxiety and the fear that the already brilliant sound design is sort of layering. It really is absolutely beautiful, and I do believe that this will give a heightened experience to the game. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is relating to the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. So obviously we know about the adaptive triggers and the different sort of vibration mechanics that this controller has. I think games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Miles Morales have demonstrated where these triggers can be used in such ways where you actually blur the line between reality and digital adventures, right? So for example, Aloy's bowstrings, they kind of get really tense and it kind of starts to shake with the trigger on your finger. It really does immerse you a little bit more. Miles Morales, you can sort of feel that the web resistance as you hold onto it, and it really does give you that sort of extra immersion. Now, in Callisto Protocol, what I've kind of realized is, not only do you feel your actions, and this is actually true to the melee combats more specifically, every single hit packs a punch. And not only there's a visual delay and heaviness to it, but also the actual controller shakes, and as you make impact with whatever you're hitting, the trigger actually does like a little bit of like that sort of motion, where you can exactly feel the moment when your baton makes contact with an enemy, and that really does give an elevated sense of you being there in the fight scene. It really is an experience that is really hard to sort of give through with words, and it's something that you just need to experience yourself. However, not only that, but also in the environment, there's these death traps, these spinning mechanical things, and these spike walls, and you calling the lift, and the gears kind of running, and the rope sliding down, and everything that happens in the environment you can feel in the controller. And not only you can feel in the controller, but depending on which way you're looking, different sides of the controller is actually shaking. So this gives you that sort of 3D, maybe even 4D sense of like you being there. Not only you can hear where the sound's coming from, but you can feel which part of the station is shaking through your hands. And again, I have to say that these two features, when it comes to ray tracing, easily one of the best on the PlayStation 5. I would argue maybe you can actually bring the PC platform into this as well, because I've not actually seen a game take ray tracing this seriously and adapt it into its core mechanics so fluently. But also, I can 100% confirm that on the PlayStation 5 there's no other games that use the DualSense and the adaptive triggers feature of the controller as much and as well as Callisto Protocol does. Once again, does this change the fact that I gave the review the score that I gave? If you want to know, check it out. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't, because at the end of the day, there are too many issues with the game from a performance and a technical standpoint, and it doesn't matter whether I subjectively like it or not. At the end of the day, objectively, the game is unplayable for some people, and that's not okay. And as a whole package, from an objective standpoint, it wasn't good enough for the £70 retail price that they were asking for, and that is the reason why I gave the score that I did. But anyway, all of that is explained in the review. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.